The sports show is on the air. Mike, Max, Patrick, Royce, Trent Tucker, and the one and only Sid Hartman. How are you, Sidney?
Royce, don't agree with me about the several timber.
We'll get to those. Those will unfold as we go along. Let's start with Adrian Peterson. Now, the Vikings can be in contact with him. Now, how does this play out?
They can talk to him, but it's going to take some time to get something done. I mean,
but there's really nothing that has to be done if they just want him to come back and play.
Well, here's the point. He wants some money. You think he's going to give up $13 million and not play next year? That's the choice he's going to have.
Okay, so but is this the real choice, Patrick? Because
that's the choice he's going to have.
Hang on a second. $13 million. I think the next running back, highest paid running back, is $10 million. So you could take your chance with the Vikings and say, we're going to reduce you by this. If you want to take your chances, fine, because there's no market for running backs. What would you do?
You're absolutely right, but if the Vikings want to put an end to all the nonsense, all they got to do is issue a statement, say we plan to honor his contract.
Trent, what would you do?
I would bring him back. I think he can really help this team. We all know that he's perhaps the best running back in the game right now, and have him in the backfield with a young quarterback like Teddy Bridgewater, I think it bodes well for the Vikings offense.
So it's pretty simple. You just
he might change his mind.
Who?
He might not want to play for the Vikings.
It doesn't matter.
But I said the Vikings might change their mind. But right now, the Vikings' attitude is, you have a contract, we'll pay you the money, you play here or no place at all. They might change their mind. They might change their mind a month from now or a week from now or 2 weeks from now. But that is the Wolf's attitude right now. That comes from the horse's mouth.
Anybody who thinks that all this angst around Peterson isn't based on the perception that the Vikings are going to try to cut him is crazy. That's what it's all about. They're going to try to cut him, and he doesn't want to get cut. Well, then there's going to be no problems. Then there's no problems.
There's no problem.
Okay.
They're not going to pay. They're going to pay him the money.
Okay.
But what Patrick's saying is, then, if that's the case, then all you have to do is issue one statement and say, we're paying him.
We're honoring his contract.
We're honoring his contract.
Repeat what I once said. Unless the Wolves change their mind, at this point today, he'll either play for the contract or he'll sit on his rear end.
What would make them change their mind?
Why are they going to change their mind?
If Rick Spielman decides and Zimmer decide that they can go without him.
Well, I don't see that happening.
Okay.
A GM and a coach, they're trying to win.
You heard Spielman today.
Yeah.
He wants him to play here.
Well, then
issue the statement.
What's the problem? What's the problem?
There's no problem.
Well, then issue a statement saying we plan to honor his contract, and Peterson all of a sudden think the Vikings are fine.
Now.
You could issue a statement saying once this is all resolved, we plan to honor his contract.
That's what I've been saying all the time. Okay.
Okay, Trent. Well, how do agents get involved in this? And you know, when they work with players, what's their obligation? How do agents get involved in this whole thing? And are they always the bad guy or the fall guy? In other words, you hear about a confrontation with Rob Brzezinski. Do they do some of that stuff on purpose at the client's request or with their permission?
Well, you're hoping that the agents are working on the better behalf of the players to give them the best possible deal they can find out there. And if Adrian is trying to move on, and if he's looking for a reason to move on, then maybe his agent could be that guy to set the tone, to disrupt things so he can move on.
Does an agent ever do anything that's not premeditated without his client's consent?
Well, I would like to think that he is going to get, some sort of consent from his client before he makes a decision on how he's going to handle this situation.
He's not going to make the decision. Well, Peterson's going to make the decision.
But he can stir the waters if he wants.
If the client wants.
He's under contract, buddy.
Yeah.
For this year.
Yes.
Right. We know that through 17.
They can sign him. He's under contract. He's signed.
We know that.
He will play in those exhibition games, and if they don't like what they see, they'll either trade him or release him.
Well, I mean, I hadn't heard that take on it, that they'd watch him through the preseason.
I think, you got to You got to make that decision before the exhibition games. You got to, isn't it?
That's a good question.
Sometime early in the summer that they could, if they decide to let him go.
Well, you wouldn't have to pay him.
Early
You
in
mean?
the summer, yeah.
That's a good question. I don't know if you could run him through the preseason and make a decision on that or not. In the
But I got to ask you, back in the day when you were playing, way back when, there wasn't quite as much vetting of agents. You had to be careful, didn't you?
Oh, you'd be
there
very
were some
careful.
fellas running around. How'd you did you have the right guy?
I had the right guy. You know, I was lucky enough to have some people who came to me before I got drafted to kind of lay out a list of guys who I could look at. And I had a guy named Howard Garfinkel who ran five-star basketball camp. You know, he was very instrumental into me finding the guy that represented me for a long time.
Remember when Dark Star did Chuck Knobloch's contract? Remember that? Do you remember when he did Chuck Knobloch's contract for him and negotiated that whole thing?
Yes.
He did nothing.
Sat right up there. He was right up there at the head table.
Rest in peace, my friend.
Right up there at the head table.
Rest in peace. Back after this.
I thought you were...
The Sports Show is brought to you in part by Canterbury Park 24/7 Card Club. Don't forget the Card Club at Canterbury Park. Cambria, makers of quality quartz surfaces. Ticket King. For the best price on tickets anywhere, try Ticket King. And Soundpoint Audiology. Life is worth hearing.
Quality. It's the result of shared values. The joy found in an honest day's work. Respect for true American craftsmanship and the need, not the want, to get things right. It's the result of remembering your roots, being forever humbled by how far you've traveled and forever hungry to push on further. Quality is a result. Quality is who we are. Cambria. Family owned, American made.
You're watching CW-23.
If you've been injured in a crash, you need to understand Insurance 101. Today's question is, how does an insurance company make a profit? They charge a premium to their customers, and when the bad driver hits you, they pay you as little as possible. What's in the middle is their profit. That's Insurance 101. Once you know how insurance companies work, you're going to know it's TSR time. Give us a call right now at 612-TSR-TIME. That's 612-TSR-TIME.
Kelley Blue Book's KBB.com says the Kia Optima looks even better than some sedans costing twice as much. And for $169 a month, looks aren't the only thing the Optima LX has on the competition. It's also backed by a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty. Plus, it was named a Consumer's Digest Best Buy. There's nothing average about the Optima LX, including the offer of just $169 a month. Hurry to your nearest Twin Cities Kia retailer today.
It's Family Leisure's Factory Direct Pool and Spa Sale.
Buy now and save big on swimming pools. Round pools in several heights and sizes starting at $7.99. Oval pools in several heights and sizes starting at $19.99. Spas. Now is the time to buy. 5-person spas from $29.99. Swim spas now only $11,999. Special financing available. Become the family hero and save money.
Factory Direct Pool and Spa Sale going on now at Family Leisure.
Well, family and fun come together.
See why more people are coming to Audi than ever before at Audi Minneapolis. Experience the legendary performance and handling of an A4 2.0 T Quattro. Lease yours for only $379 a month. Plus, Audi Minneapolis will make your first month's payment. Or try out the luxury and power of an A6. Lease for just $499 a month. The Summer of Audi event at Audi Minneapolis on 394 at General Mills Boulevard and at AudiMinneapolis.com.
Main Street is filled with hopes and dreams. The only thing you need is the right partner. The beacon of light that shines, that says we are in this together. That is Beacon Bank. Locally owned and community committed. They understand what you need. And they are your personal answer. Your friend in business and in life. Allow the folks at Beacon Bank to be a part of your life because they make dreams come true. Beacon Bank, it's a member of the FDIC and an equal housing lender.
Looking for a nice, big, juicy rack of ribs, fabulous chops, huge steaks, and the Buddy Bowl? Then J.D. Hoyt's is the place for you.
Hoyt's opened in 1983, and Mike Andrews and his partner John White have kept this Minnesota tradition at the top of the food chain. Managing owner Pat Montague gives us a tour.
At J.D. Hoyt's, enjoy a relaxed atmosphere, great food, friendly service, private dining room, second-to-none happy hour, just blocks from the new ballpark.
Located at 394 in North Washington. Locally owned, nationally known. Hoyt's.
Downtown Minneapolis, stop by J.D. Hoyt's, locally owned, nationally known, the perfect place before you go to whatever that event is that you're heading to in downtown Minneapolis. J.D. Hoyt's is the place to stop, say hi to Pat and the gang. You wanted to make one more point.
The Wolves, he's getting $13.5
That's
million.
the Wolves.
Peterson.
Yep.
So if they cut him $5 million, it's not going to make that much difference to the Wolves. If they pay him $13.5,
so they'll go ahead and play the 13.
Or they pay him $8 million.
It's going to make a hell of a lot of difference to him, though.
To him, yeah. But you're saying they're fine paying him 13.
They'll pay him the 13 as of right now. No. If for some reason Spielman and Zimmer decide, okay, he's not worth $13 million, we'll get somebody else, then it'll happen. But as of today, as of right now, I know the Wolves will pay him the money.
Okay, what if he said, go ahead and cut me? What would they do?
What could they cut him, $5 million?
No, what if he said, just release me?
If you don't want to play here?
Yeah, what would they do?
Have him sit.
Then they got to pay him, right?
No,
no, if he doesn't show up, obviously.
He'll show up.
Yeah, here for.
If they're going to pay him, he'll be here with bells on his toes.
Yeah, for $13 million, he's definitely going to show up.
Timberwolves, and what was an eventful week this week. Patrick, you start with this one. Kevin Garnett comes back.
Yeah, it was fun the other night. A lot of fun, and everybody had a good time. And you know, I got a little nostalgic watching Randy Whitman's team too. It was very mindful of his teams when he coached here previously. So it was, you know, the way they played, I said, "My God, I've seen this before." But yeah, he had a good influence, and I thought the story was, and everybody was so hung up on Kevin, but it was like these two ships passing in the night. Wiggins, being the first guy this franchise has had that can remind you of Kevin Garnett, a young Kevin Garnett in any way. Some of those plays he made in the second half, I said, we haven't seen that since Kevin was 28 or something. So
yeah,
I thought that was the story.
Yeah, Andrew Wiggins is a fantastic young player, and he's only going to get better. He's an all-star waiting to happen, and if he stays on his track, he's going to be a very good player for this organization for a very long time.
I was talking to Steve Ashburn after the game, and you know, Ash covered Garnett the whole time he played. He had a very good point, though. This leadership of Garnett, that's fine. But Wiggins doesn't have to all of a sudden be screaming obscenities and pounding his head on the stanchion and everything else. He's a different kind of kid.
Different kid.
You got to teach him how to play a little bit, but don't expect to see the same emotion, and that's fine.
Right, that is fine.
There's different ways to play the game.
Yeah, he is who he is. You know, he's a smooth player. He's
Wiggins,
a guy, he's under control, and he's not going to take on the same personality that Kevin Garnett has.
Sid, you've been waiting here patiently.
The big difference in the team is Rubio. Rubio is supposed to be the greatest thing since anybody. And he wasn't until he come back right now. Right now, I think he's the best point guard in the NBA.
I know. Mike Conley, I thought, was better last night.
Who's better than him?
I watched Conley last night for Memphis. I thought he was outstanding.
Yeah.
I might take Russell Westbrook. I don't know.
Rubio is playing great.
Give me a category for Rubio. Where do you see him?
Well, he's getting better. His outside shot seems like it has improved, and we all know that if he's going to take that next step to become one of the elite point guards in the game, he has to become a better outside shooter. You
know what else he's got, though? I mean, with Garnett coming back, he's street smart. He knows, like, hey, this is Kevin's team, and he says all the right things, and he says it with an accent.
I think those two guys will get along pretty well because
Rubio won't rock the boat.
No, but I don't know. He's got to get that jump shot up in the air, though.
Yeah, I mean, It's still flat.
I'll tell you the guy that's Trent Tecker like, though, that doesn't get enough credit is Kevin Martin. He bails them out of more games and brings them back in more games than anybody on that team.
You know, he's one of those guys that you don't really talk a lot about in terms of his offense production. You know, he's always been a very good offensive player, and now on a nightly basis, he can score as well as anybody at that two-guard position.
Okay, I got to ask you a
He's
question.
making free throws, which he didn't do before.
Rubio?
Rubio.
Oh, or Rubio began, okay.
Making free throws, which he didn't do before. He's making some three-point shot. He says you got to get the ball in the air just so the ball goes in, and they're going in for him.
Well, they aren't going in that much. They aren't going in. Hey, Kevin Martin, the delivery. What's the funkiest? Is that the funkiest for a jump shooter? Is that the funkiest delivery you've seen, or who's he remind you of?
I think the worst one I've seen is Bill Cartwright.
Is that right?
Worst jump shot?
What did he do? Put her back
He
here?
had the big wind up and it went all the way over here. But he was effective with it. But Kevin Martin has a very unique
But for a bomber,
stroke.
I think one reason he's effective is people still don't believe that he's ready to shoot.
And also, he's a very good athlete. I mean, he can put it down and finish at the rim also.
Yeah.
You know what else? He doesn't get too caught up in all the stuff going on around him.
No, he has one of those personalities that he just fits in and does his job on a nightly basis. But he's a fun guy to watch.
Is that one of the toughest things to do in sport, though, to come into, you did it, to come in and be a really good shooter in different situations when you're coming off cold, your minutes may fluctuate. Is that one of the toughest things to do in sport?
It's a very tough thing to do, but you always have to stay ready. And for me as a young player, I have veteran guys who made sure that I stayed ready. When my number was called, I was able to step in and help out.
If they had Muhammad, they'd have won the bowl game, and they'd have won the game last night.
Yeah, but the Bulls, you can't, Sid, you say this, they didn't have Derrick Rose, Taj Gibson, and Gasol got hurt right away. So,
I admit that. But I'm just saying, if they had Muhammad, they'd have won both those games.
Yeah, but if Oklahoma City had Kevin Durant, they might be a little better.
Yeah, if Houston had Dwight Howard, I mean.
Yeah, that's the way it goes.
Okay, take a break, come back, stay with us.
Ever wonder, why do I hear but not understand? Scientists at Cambridge University discovered the answer. Inside your cochlea, there are thousands of tiny hearing hair cells. Poor hearing occurs when regions of these hair cells die. Amplifying a dead region with hearing aids makes you hear worse, not better. The result of this study is a hearing clarity breakthrough. Using standard test equipment, dead regions of your cochlea are identified. Then, a new type of frequency-shaping hearing aid is programmed to bypass the dead regions. Only your usable hearing hair cells receive amplification. Brilliant. A local study is underway. 100 citizens with hearing problems are needed to receive this testing and then wear the tiny device for 10 days, recording your results. Call now to see if you qualify. Volunteers may keep the product at a special discount if they desire. Don't miss this opportunity. Call now.
Thanks for watching CW-23.
In a world full of compromise, the Audi A3 takes a different path. Get uncompromised design, the style and presence of Audi in a lighter, smaller form. Uncompromised performance, a lightning-quick turbocharged engine, and race-bred S-tronic transmission. Uncompromised luxury with standard leather seating and panoramic sunroof. Lease your A3 for only $299 a month. Plus, during the Summer of Audi event, Audi Minneapolis will make your first payment. Stay uncompromised. Audi Minneapolis.
There it is, Audi Minneapolis. Stop on by right off of 394. Say hi to the guys. Test drive one of those Q5s. Perfect for downtown Minneapolis parking with some power and some guts on the freeway. Welcome back to the sports show. Is there any concern that if Kevin Garnett wants to get involved in ownership going forward? Patrick, you start this one. What are the potential pitfalls? What's the upside?
Oh, man, I have no idea. I'm sure he'll end up with a piece. I don't know how it's going to do. But the trouble is, I think when Flip and Kevin were both having their dreams of buying an NBA team, they were worth $300 million. Now, with the new TV deal, they're worth $600 million. So that's a lot of money.
Yeah,
I mean, Kevin's made a lot of money, but he better have it all if he wants to buy it.
You throw $100 million at it, and you're going like 17% of the team is all.
Yeah, Patrick made a great point. You know, the prices are going up, the new TV money coming in, Steve Ballmer, what he did with the LA Clippers. So you better have some real deep pockets if you want to own an NBA franchise now.
He don't have to own the whole team. he can just own 10% or 15% or 20% and be a vice president. He wants to live here. He's got his home here. His wife's been here. He has no intention of owning the whole team.
But then why own anything?
He just has ownership.
Okay, but why would you want to own anything if you couldn't own the whole team?
Why? Because he can draw a big salary. He can run
you
the
cut a
team.
deal, you mean, where you're paying to get a job.
You don't have to own the whole team.
But I mean, is that worth it to pay in to get a job in essence?
He wants to live here. He wants to be an executive with the team when he gets through playing. There are other people in this town who will come up with the money to buy the team.
But he doesn't. He wouldn't even have to be an owner in the team if he just wants to be an executive.
He just can own part of the team and have control.
I insist.
He and Flip.
I insist that even if he doesn't get a job with the Wolves, he can afford to live here. If that's his goal, I think he can afford to live here.
Probably have two homes, huh? Okay. The Wild won again last night, Patrick.
They're good. They're good, man. They got this Dumba kid is coming on. Some of their young defensemen. They, you know when you're good, when you go someplace and the other team absolutely has to win. They have no choice, and you beat them. Mm-hmm. And they're good right now. They've been good for 6 weeks. They don't give up any, one power play goal against them since the All-Star break? 44 out of 45, something like that.
It's also
they see Trent, not a team right now you want to play in the playoffs.
But it's also nice when you lose a game on your home ice that you shouldn't lose to Edmonton, and then two nights later you go back and beat the best team in hockey. So I mean that shows you some mental toughness.
You know why they lost to Edmonton though? They kept hitting the goalie with the puck. He wanted to give up 8 just like they usually do, but they kept hitting him with the puck.
Louis told me the next day that he was worried about that game. He thought they might be overconfident. I said I wish you would have shared that with me before the game. How do you feel? You're still pretty bullish about comes down to goaltending, aren't you?
Well, right now they're in the playoffs. That don't mean they're going to go far in the playoffs. They're not going to beat the Blackhawks in the playoff. They're not going to beat Pittsburgh in the playoffs.
Well, they got to play Pittsburgh. It would have been a good season.
That's the Stanley Cup Finals. Everybody will be happy.
Yeah.
They're not going to beat the good teams in the playoff. So far, they haven't beat any. They haven't played.
They beat Nashville on the road, Sid. They beat Nashville on the road. They're the best team in the league.
Yeah. Okay, they're the best team in the league, right?
Nashville is the best team in the league, and they beat them on the road this week.
Let's see if they can.
And the other thing, the Blackhawks are leaking, and Patrick Kane is out for 6 weeks. So
the
Blackhawks went and gave up a hot prospect and a first-round draft choice to get a forward today because they're in a panic.
Yeah, NHL trade deadline's always interesting because they'll start flying.
60 guys. It'll be chaos. It's chaos. They move them all over the place. What is it, tomorrow, right? Monday, I think.
I think it's tomorrow.
Yeah.
I can't get, but you're not on the Wild, and you're all over the Wolves.
I think the Wolves ain't going to go any place in the playoffs either.
Right.
They got no chance to even come close.
But you salute the Wolves and you tear down the Wild.
Are a good hockey team, but I don't think they're one of the top hockey teams when it comes to the playoff, okay?
I got to tweet that out. Sid says Wolves won't make playoffs. I'm with you on that one. We agree on that
position, huh?
They were on the roll last year. And how far did they go in the playoff? They beat Colorado.
Right.
And they got to the Blackhawks, and they couldn't beat the Blackhawks.
They lost in 6 games.
I think the same thing will happen this year, okay? That's my opinion.
If it ended today, they'd play Nashville in the first round. So if
that
they could beat them,
I'd rather play the Blackhawks than Nashville.
Yes, that's my point. Yep.
Better goaltender and younger legs.
Yeah, really good goaltender when he's on. Take a break, come back. The Sports Show.
If you guys could go on a free shopping spree anywhere, where would you go? I'd go to the grocery store. Pizza, ice cream. I'd go shop for clothes. You know where I go? I'd go to Ticket King. Ticket King! At Ticket King, you can buy great seats for the Vikings, the Wild, the Timberwolves, and of course the Twins. We love the Twins! Yep, this is where I go. Vikings, Twins, Wild, Timberwolves, Gophers, theater, and concerts too. For details, go to TicketKingOnline.com. Any ticket, anytime, anywhere. It's the real thing. It's Ticket King. Right, Dad?
Couldn't have said it any better myself.
That's for sure.
You're watching CW-23.
Main Street is filled with hopes and dreams. The only thing you need is the right partner. The beacon of light that shines, that says we are in this together. That is Beacon Bank. Locally owned and community committed. They understand what you need. And they are your personal answer. Your friend in business and in life. Allow the folks at Beacon Bank to be a part of your life because they make dreams come true. Beacon Bank, it's a member of the FDIC and an equal housing lender. Beacon Bank, responsive, reliable, reassuring.
They lost Edmonton.
Bob Weiss and his gang are waiting for you. Stop on by and live out your American dream with Beacon Bank. Welcome back to the sports show. Let's move on to the Gophers. They found a way to win at Michigan State.
Well, Michigan State had one of the worst nights I've ever seen a Izzo team have. They couldn't hit the broadside of a barn, and the Gophers played great, but they played Wisconsin Thursday night, and I got a better chance of being the Pope than them beating Wisconsin.
Which was your team line before they played Michigan State, by the way.
Trent, we see a lot of Izzo teams. I never saw one play quite as stupid defensively.
You're absolutely
the
right.
last minute and a half.
You're absolutely right.
Not in late February, anyway.
I mean, it's Izzo.
I thought he was going to have an aneurysm. We couldn't believe they let him. And then the guy jumps into Joey King and lets him shoot three free throws. Oh, man.
You know, they made some really, really bad mistakes coming down the stretch defensively, but you have to give the Gophers credit. They hung in there. They kept themselves in the game, and they made some shots coming down the stretch. But when you miss free throws at the end of the game, I don't care how good you are, it's going to come back.
That's probably the worst game Michigan State teams played in 5 years.
I don't know.
They've had some of those games this year.
Yeah, they aren't that great, but I wish I had gotten to see Carlos Morris play a JUCO game when nobody plays defense and they just run up and down the court because he can draw rain, man. But those 2 threes he made were unbelievable.
Trent, I think when you look at the Gophers, though, the bigger concern is, I mean, they're playing all upperclassmen. What do they got next year? It doesn't look real positive.
Well, you know, they're going to have to really get out and hit the recruiting trail once the season is over. And Patino is going to rely on his assistant coaches, you know, to use some of the people that they know.
But they need immediate impact. They don't have much coming back.
They're going to have to really, really hit the ground running right as soon as the season's up, and like I mentioned, to see if they can bring in some talent, you know, to Minnesota to keep this team moving forward.
The Dorsey kid's supposed to be the best he's gotten in.
Yes.
He's supposed to be the real
They
deal.
have been able to win games with Walker, with Hollins, with number 4.
Matthew.
And they lose in King. And
he's a junior, but yeah.
I don't see how they're going to replace those guys. They do have 3 scholarships available, but I would think the better players are already committed.
College basketball. We had Bobby Knight on, I sat in with you today, and he said there's no great teams in college basketball this year. And I'm watching Kentucky play yesterday. They're undefeated.
Yeah, but you know what the thing people would not talk about Kentucky, they talk about the talent, the way they defend.
Yeah.
What, some of the people are shooting 32% against them or something?
But just
unbelievable.
They are a great team. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
and
they play defense.
There's no great teams in college basketball, and every time I watch Kentucky, they look like a great team. As we move down to Sid,
they haven't beat any great. They haven't had to beat any great teams.
But if you're undefeated at this juncture of the season, doesn't that kind of qualify you as a great team?
I don't know. Depends on the opposition. We'll see how they do in the NCAA.
Okay, so let's go Sid on Sid. Sid, your closing thoughts for today's show. People kind of wait for this one. Now, look at that camera and give them your final thoughts.
I said we'll see how good Kentucky is when they get in the NCAA, and they have to play some good teams. We'll play Duke, for instance.
Okay, my sympathy on Leonard Nimoy this week. We'll see you back here next week.
The Sports Show is brought to you in part by Canterbury Park 24/7 Card Club. Don't forget the Card Club at Canterbury Park. Cambria, makers of quality quartz surfaces. Ticket King. For the best price on tickets anywhere, try Ticket King. And Sound Point Audiology. Life is worth hearing.